Hey there, everybody. This is Jason Brenizer. Hopefully, we're streaming to a lot of platforms. I am the host of the Phenomenal Future program, project, podcast, future plan, all the P's. That's what I'm here for. I am loving what I have been doing. Today is day 25 in a row where I'm streaming live on multiple platforms at the same time. I'm planning on doing this 365 days in a row so that I can get this information out to artists who are really looking to take control of their careers and not be at the mercy of middlemen, labels, gallery owners, etc., etc. Now, a lot of those people out there do really good work. I'm not really saying that that's terrible, but some people want a little bit more control in what it is that they can do, and not be beholden, but not being at the mercy of that a whole bunch of other people are going to do stuff for you. In other words, let's not have gatekeepers. Let's go straight to our fans, and we can do that with blockchain, NFTs, smart contracts, and Web3. It's a decentralized, not quite heaven, but it will be amazing, and you can get right now, at the forefront here, and really reap the benefits of adopting something early. So today, it being Thursday, I'm coming up with a new little day called PB with J, Thursday, and that means we're going to be pushing beliefs today, and you're going to be doing that with me, Jason. And today's topic, or limiting belief, that I know a lot of people that I've talked to, a lot of artists out there have. It's, look, I'm an artist, and it's nearly impossible for anyone to know about my work. Okay, you put out new stuff. It doesn't matter. You might have been a musician that has pushed out 4 or 5 albums in the past, but today, how does anybody find out about something, right? The record companies aren't doing these giant pushes. Why? Because you can put one song out at a time. You can put one video out at a time. It's not the same. It took a lot right before, where they would come up with 10 songs. They'd do a printing of that on an album. They'd have album art. They would have album notes. They would have, a lot of, marketing behind that. It would go to the record companies, the radio stations. I'm talking about the old days, okay? But the new days are very different. And since anybody can post anything on YouTube and SoundCloud and all these other places, you're an artist. How does anybody know about your work? Or you do visual art, fine art. Maybe you're a painter. How does anybody know about the paintings that you have in your studio? Even if you take a whole bunch of photographs of them and you post them online, oh, looks like we're having a little bit of trouble with the video feed here, so let's fix that. You can post that stuff online. You can have your online gallery. You can, have a blog and all that kind of stuff. But you still are telling me that no one can find out about your work. No one's responding to the things that you're putting out into the world. Okay, so when people tell me their limiting beliefs, the first thing I want to go to, I do this for myself. I come up with something that I feel like I believe that's holding me back, that's maybe negative. What do? I ask myself questions. That's the process, okay? This PB and J with J process is all about asking questions. So I'm going to ask you question number 1 here. If you think it's nearly impossible for anyone to know about your work, who are you relying on? Who are you relying on? Okay. I used that example a minute ago where you might be a musician and you have a record company, a label that you used to rely on to be putting all that information out into the world, to get it in the hands of the radio stations, to get you on television shows to be interviewed, or even you know, play one of your songs, on a show, like on a late night show, something like that. Are those people booking those anymore? And are those even available? Are the new fans that are actually doing all the buying? Because let's face it, people probably past their 50s, 60s maybe, aren't buying nearly as much music as they used to. They have their fans, they have their go-tos on the music that they listen to, and they're probably not consuming much new stuff. All right, so if you are relying on other people to get the word out, not so good, okay? Especially if it's an old, antiquated model. Now, the second question I'd like you to ask yourself, who have you told? Okay, a lot of people, especially if you're a new artist, who do you tell? You've got your Facebook friends. You post it on Facebook. Well, guess what? Facebook doesn't even get your post necessarily in front of your friends on their feed, right? Algorithms might not pick you up and push you in front of them. And are your friends really on Facebook going to your page where you're doing all of the posting? Does anybody ever go to an actual page? Some, but not that many. Most are just kind of scrolling through the feed. All right. So if you've only told your friends on Facebook, or if you only told your family, by a phone call, I'd say that there are some other options. Now, I'm going to continue with the whole Facebook thing here. It's let's ask ourselves this question. All right, who have I told? And who else could I tell that might be interested in what I have to offer? Well, in Facebook, there are groups out there. And there may be groups, let's say I'm going with musicians. Let's say you make electronic dance music, EDM. I bet you if you type EDM in the group search on Facebook, you're going to find thousands of groups. I would suggest to you that you find the groups that have the highest number of people who are part of the group, okay? Not like 10, okay? More like 10,000 or 100,000, something like that, in a very popular genre like that. And that you become a member of that group. If you have to apply, you apply, whatever. And then you start posting. Now let's ask ourselves another question. What do I post? Well, I can tell you what not to post right off the bat. If the only thing that you do in those groups as a member is post when you have a new album available or a new piece of art, if it's all about you, no one will care. In fact, they'll get annoyed. That's not the place to tell them about your offer, okay, or your product. No, what you need to do in these groups is see what kinds of questions they have and answer them. You can post in there and pose a question and get people to comment on that. And you can interact with them. And look, what I'm saying is provide some value. Provide your 2 cents, your perspective, your point of view. That's how people will learn about you, your values, the things that you care about. And then subtly, you can let them know that maybe you've got something else going on your page, right? You're wanting to slowly attract them to basically trust you ahead of time, and then they might get curious to look you up and learn a little bit more about you, and then go to that place where you're posting about all of the things that you're up to in your career. Okay? So let's go to the next question. Do you have a way to personally and reliably tell your fans? Okay, so again, if we're relying on the record companies to get the word out, and it's the streaming services that actually are interacting with your fans, how are you getting a hold of the people who actually are loving your music? Like, if you don't have a real reliable way to do that, I mean, even with Facebook, if you had a whole bunch of followers on your page that is specifically for the art that you're creating, Facebook can shut you down. And is there a way to like mass send out information to people on Facebook easily, even in Messenger? It's not really that simple, okay? So you got to look for ways when you're pulling people to your stuff that you are also figuring out a way to ask for their information. You want to be able to reach out to them when you have something so that they know to consume it, so that they know to buy it or experience it or participate with it. Okay? That means right now, believe it or not, you want their email address. Email is still the number one way, believe it, the number one way to reliably get in front of the fans or the people who have said yes, basically given you permission to communicate with them about the things that you have when they become available. All right? Email is the best way to do that. The next few ways to do that, of course, is you could do ads, but you don't know how that's going to go. Like Facebook ads or something like that. But yeah, so it would be nice for you to also have a website where people can go, and you might have a pop-up that comes up. Everyone's seen that, right? And it says, hey, I have this free thing. Go ahead and give me your best email address and we'll send it to you. That's how you would do that. It's basically I give you this, you give me that. And if they have consumed kind of the stuff that you've been putting out into the world, and by consume I mean the value that you've been creating, not just the products, right? But your point of view, your help, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to trust you a little bit more when they come to your website to say, oh yeah, I guess I can give that person my email address. So, yeah, that I say is the number one way. Now there probably will be some coming in the future that have to do with blockchain and cryptocurrency wallets and things like that. But when I tell you that those are reliable, that's another video down the line. But right now we're still using Web 2 technology when it comes to figuring out a way to own your audience so that you can help them get what you want, get what they want, what they say they want when you have it available. And yeah, I think those are the main questions, right? I just wanted to kind of go over this process. Like, when I have doubt, when I am not having certainty about the next steps or how I can get to what my big goals are, right? I say I want to, if you're a musician and you want to be able to play in front of 10,000 people, and right now you're lucky if 50 people show up to your gig. Like, there's a huge gap, right? And I'm just trying to help you figure out a way to take those little steps to really eat away at that gap. You want to build a bridge across that chasm and be able to get to your goals. And it takes one little step at a time. You know, how do you run 1,000 miles one step at a time? How would you eat an elephant? One little bite at a time. Okay? That's what we're doing here on these Thursday segments. The PB with Jay, we're pushing beliefs. The old beliefs out the window, we want to replace them with new beliefs and new habits and things like that. I'm keeping this one short today because I'm about ready to crash. I'm Jason Brenizer. This is the Phenomenal Future Project. It would be amazing if I actually have people watching this live today, but if you're not watching it live and you're watching it after the fact, I still want you to leave comments because I want to learn what's working for us, what we could do better. Also what you might want to learn about that has to do with blockchain and smart contracts for artists, NFTs, that kind of thing. And also, if you subscribe, thank you, because it really helps us rise in those the algorithms. So when people are trying to search for things and get answers, we will rise to the top, and they will be able to get things, information that's specifically tailored to them. So thank you very much for being here. I think you're phenomenal. You're going to have a fantastic future. Just keep plugging away and believe in yourself that it's all worth it. And if you stick with something long enough, you're going to go way past those goals that you're setting for yourself today. Because right now, you can only see so far past the horizon. Those mountains are kind of in the way. When you get to those mountains, you can see what's on the other side. That's what I've got. Thanks, Phenoms. I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.